like that in the interim between episodes, you seem to have watched a couple of things. Am I correct? It seems like I thought you weren't going to be watching the Minecraft movie.
And I thought you weren't going to be watching the How to Train Your Dragon remake.
We're putting him under the hot lamp right now.
Yes.
So tell me, why did you watch these movies, Alex?
Oh, geez. I hope we didn't upset him.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I hope it's just... All right. So, unfortunately, today, Alex is on his phone because he's having problems with his laptop.
So anyway, that whole thing was Matt and I was just a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
We try to do a variety with the openings instead of just saying hello.
It's like, hello, here's our episode. We're going to complain about movies.
So Matt's idea
for a long time.
So Matt's idea was to roast Alex about the movies he said he wasn't going to watch, but then he did end up watching.
Yeah, and then Alex is going to be like, I watched one of them with my cousins.
Which is true, yeah.
But it doesn't explain the other one.
Okay, so How to Train Your Dragon, I read the reviews, and I was like,
it got better than expected reviews, but
yes, and then the movie was better than I thought it'd be, so...
Okay.
Are there other ones? Oh, right, Jurassic World. I said I wasn't going to see that, and then I saw it.
Again!
Again! You just got to stop saying that you're not... You got to just stop saying you're not going to see a movie.
Excuse me, you also said you weren't going to see Jurassic World Rebirth, and then you did.
Yes. Well, that was because my mom wanted to see it.
Usually when I ask...
Similar to the Minecraft situation.
Usually when I'm asked on whether or not if I'm going to see a movie, I'd be like, I don't know.
There we go.
But I promise I will never see the Minecraft movie.
I'll see it if it's like a Razzie nominee. But,
which it might be.
Which it might be.
Which would be crazy because it made so much money, but...
If it is, then I will. If it isn't, and it's not like surprisingly Oscar nominated or something like that, in which case I won't see it then. I'll probably be fine with only seeing it in clips.
But tell you what, you guys can yell at me if I end up seeing the Smurfs movie, which I don't plan on it.
Okay, well, I will yell at you because that looks like dog doo-doo.
No, I don't plan on seeing it. So
I'm going to open up Letterboxd one day.
Right.
And I'm going to see that he's watched all the Smurfs movies leading up to the Smurf movie.
Which I haven't, so you don't have to worry about that.
And we're just kidding with you, Alex.
You haven't watched the other Smurfs movies, so you have to catch up on the Smurfs movies
I watched those many years ago, and I hated them, so...
But Alex, we're just kidding with you.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So Jurassic World Rebirth, just quickly. I also said I wasn't going to see it, but my mom really wanted to see it because I work at a school and I have the summer off. She wanted it for something to do. But if she didn't want to see it, I absolutely was going to skip it. But I will say, though, this is the first movie. I have no evidence of this, but this is the first movie. I don't know about you, Alex, because you're the only other person that's seen this that I know. That I felt like the movie was partially written by AI. What do you think of that?
I think so. I mean, I don't know much of it, but
I know there was all strikes about it, Matt. But I without giving too much away, the script, the writing, definitely, and the concept of the movie felt very AI like, which is disappointing.
Well, we'll see once everything comes to light. If someone says, "Oh yeah, I opened up ChatGPT and I wrote the synopsis,"
if they release the entire, don't some movies release the entire
I'm
script?
I'm not going to be accusatory of
I'm not accusing them. It's just for me, this was the first time I felt like a movie was partially written with AI. Again, I'm not accusing them. The writer was the original writer of the original movie, which is cool, but it also makes me suspicious that there was only one writer for the movie as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do Did you
Does
know
it feel like a lot of those?
Did you know the original director of Jurassic Park used AI?
Oh yeah,
Steven.
technically,
Oh
movie.
yeah, he had a
yes.
whole movie about it.
Oh yeah, then he did a whole other movie about it.
God damn you, Steven Spielberg.
So it's a hot one today.
Yes, it
It
is.
is.
So I hope you have a nice cold beverage.
I do.
I've got a ice cold Coke Zero right here, but I also have a water, which is also a preferable drink to drink when it's nearly 100 degrees out.
I also have a
Stay cool,
water.
people. Stay cool, people.
So I have a story.
Okay, let's hear this story.
My thing, and we'll get into the Superman.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get a Superman episode today, folks.
So I went to a Subway for the first time in like 5 years today.
Okay.
So they have Happy Gilmore collectible cups.
Oh yeah, I think I saw your tweet about that. You were like,
So,
I went to Subway specifically to get a Happy Gilmore cup, and I'm
which I did.
I can't wait to also open up Letterbox. I think I said that again, but to open up Letterbox and to see Alex has rated Happy Gilmore to like
You said 3.5
three and a half stars and given a like. That's my prediction.
All right.
That's my prediction.
And stay tuned for that next Friday because that's when the movie comes out.
You see, I'm gonna be right.
You could talk all about it in the next episode.
It's got an Alex 3.5 star written all over it. I could be surprised. You could give it a 4, but I feel I've got a feeling.
I don't know. The first one's so nostalgic for me that you never know.
That's true. You could be won over by nostalgia points.
It's funny, Alex, you did that today because for the first time today, I saw on commercials the Shooter McGavin had was on a Subway commercial promoting that.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah.
And Julie Bowen was on Jimmy Kimmel last night, but it wasn't Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh yeah, he's taking the summers off now. I saw her a little bit on The View, but I was like half paying attention because I was doing stuff in between.
And before.
Oh yeah, Alex, you have a mini segment.
I do. So we have a celebrity birthday today. Do you want to guess who it is, guys?
Guess who it is? Oh, I don't even know. Can you give me a hint?
He was on SNL.
That doesn't help me. There's like 50 years of SNL.
Maybe Alex has a better hint.
Alex, do you have a better hint?
Okay, it's Will Ferrell.
Oh, okay. I don't need to guess. Okay.
Oh, how about this? Guess his age, Matt.
There we go.
Oh God. I'm either going to be completely wrong or I'm going to,
answer it exactly.
If he was here and I was way off, it would be very like awkward, If I gave a range, I feel like either
Alex, right?
Is he in his early to mid 60s?
Lower.
Damn it! Damn it! I know. So I was gonna say late 50s, early 60s, but then I wanted to.
You're correct.
Yeah.
So what's it to your gut?
Was it what is it, like 59?
58.
Yep, 58. Yeah, you were right
there. You see?
So before I knew that, I guessed 57.
See, I'm very awkward at guessing ages. It's like you ask the old lady, "Would you like to use the senior discount?" And then she's like kind of incensed about that, like, "Oh, that's rude," and I'm like, "Ah."
So Alex, do you know his age before? Do you know his age before today, Alex?
I did, yeah. I know he's younger than Adam Sandler.
Yeah, so I knew he was in his late 50s before today. If I had to guess before today, I was going to say 57, so I was close.
Yes, you were.
I knew he wasn't 60 yet.
He's gonna throw a big 60 bash once that
But
happens.
anyway, happy birthday to Will Ferrell.
So I got just a quick top 5 to do.
Top 5. We love lists here.
Number 5 is a tie between
Ooh,
Stranger Than Fiction and Talladega Nights.
those are 2 good movies.
Both
They
movies you
are.
lent me. Both movies you lent me.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I said that Stranger Than Fiction is Will Ferrell's Punch Drunk Love. Would you guys agree with that?
I can agree with that. A little more
Yeah, it's
of a
probably. I mean,
dramatic.
it's probably his closest.
That is true, yeah. Talladega Nights is just like a really funny movie. I will say that.
I think it's one of my favorites with him.
And I definitely think it has actually for most. I feel like for a comedy per se from that era, I feel like it's aged okay
It has, yeah,
for
I'd
the most
say.
part. I don't find it too offensive, which is good.
So then next up we got The Other Guys. Another movie with Zack.
Yes, because I guess Alex just wanted me to add more Will Ferrell movies to my knowledge, which is good. Well, again, a lot of these movies, like, I wasn't probably allowed to watch when they came out, so
I watched The Other Guys so many times when it came out, and my mom got like pissed every time.
well, when did that come out? 2010.
10.
So we were what,
Yeah.
13? Oh, I guess my parents would have allowed me to watch it, but I would have probably had to watch the edited TV version.
Here in my garage with my new Will Ferrell. But you know what I like more than Will Ferrell? Knowledge.
Knowledge.
You have you seen that video of the guy who's like, "Here in my garage with my Lamborghini"?
That sounds familiar.
Sorry to go off topic, but it's a funny video.
Anyway,
continue.
back.
Number 3, we got Elf. Just a classic Christmas movie.
It's not Christmas unless Alex has watched Elf.
That is very true.
Yeah, I would say that might be my favorite of his if I had to do a ranking.
But there's 2 more that I just like a lot more than that.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm just,
If you know Alex,
I'm just saying for myself.
No, I know.
If you know Alex, then you know what these movies
These
are.
next
These
2
two
are.
movies.
So we got Anchorman and then Step Brothers.
Mm.
In that order.
In that order, folks.
Anchorman and then Step Brothers.
I've gotten pissed at our friend Ben because he says Anchorman 2 is better than 1.
Hey, I think that is a interesting opinion of his. All right.
It is.
Also, I remember I'll never forget, I was in Best Buy one day. I think it was right before COVID. And my friend and I were looking at the movie section at Best Buy, and we were talking about Deadpool. And we were saying, like, my friend's like, I like Deadpool 2 better than Deadpool 1. And then some random guy out of nowhere is like, really? You like Deadpool 2 better than Deadpool 1?
That sounds like Peter.
It was just so weird.
I know.
It's like, Hank, all right, it's like, calm down, you sweaty nerd.
Yes, calm down, you sweaty nerd.
I think I just said that to Ben because, you know, Anchorman 1 is like one of my favorite movies ever, so
I know, well, the thing is, I don't know, maybe he likes it better. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I only saw Anchorman 2 when it came out, but doesn't it have more of a plot than the first movie, maybe?
Yeah, it does.
I feel like the first movie doesn't really even have a plot.
But it's just funny as hell.
I'm saying I think maybe that's the reason he likes it more. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't really give him a hard time for it, but
So why Step Brothers before we move on to Superman?
Oh, so this is a movie I snuck into my bed. I stayed up late just to watch it on Stars or whatever it was on at the time. So I stayed up until 11 o'clock on a school night to watch Step Brothers. And I couldn't stop laughing at the whole movie.
That's
But
good.
to be fair, the first time I saw it, I was an immature 14-year-old. And it was the only movie of Adam McKay and Will Ferrell's that was rated R. So, you know. Yeah.
One of my friends, my other friends, that's his favorite movie as well.
Very
So
cool.
it's a popular one. Another good friend of mine, that's also his favorite movie. Is your favorite movie as well, I think?
Yeah. It is. And yeah, it is.
You roboted out there for a second, but I think you're fine.
Okay.
He was saying that it's his favorite movie on Letterboxd, but it also he believes it is his favorite movie of all time.
Yes.
Of all time!
That's why me and Matt want him to make a top 100 list at some point.
That's going to take me forever. I don't know when I'll do that.
Just whenever you're bored.
Yeah, or start like Matt said, start with the top 50 or top 25.
Oh, there we go.
I started off with the top 50,
I know,
I think.
The top 75 can usually be like you can usually be like, yeah, I got that. Yep, yeah. It's like that last 25 where you're like, I got let me do this one and then this one.
Yeah,
Matt, that's probably the most accurate thing I've heard in a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah.
It was true, because for me it was like bang, bang, bang. All right, I got 75. Now what am I gonna do for my rest of my 25? Because there's so many others. Well, that's
I'll do that eventually. I promise.
Well, that's the part of the list that I've tinkered with the most. Probably Matt has as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to update it soon again. I updated it a month ago, and now I want to update it again.
I know. Matt. I also followed in Matt's shoes and did it. Just not to get too off topic. I did it top 100 for movies since I've been born, and it'll be cool.
Really?
When I turn 30, I'm gonna probably update that again.
I'm very close to 30.
Join me. Join me. Join me.
In December of 2026, I will.
Anyway, also, this week we all got together, a little podcast get together, a little Kino Therapy posse.
Yes.
We went to Barnes and Noble because this month is currently the Criterion Collection sale, because we're
nerds,
sweaty nerds like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we got cheesecake.
Night cheesecake.
not at Barnes and Noble. We went directly to the source, the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah,
cheesecake.
Barnes and Noble does have cheesecake as well.
Barnes and Noble does have cheesecake, but just like 2 or 3 types of cheesecake, whereas at Cheesecake Factory, they have a lot of cheesecake. I had dulce de leche.
But when we were on our way to the Barnes and Noble, we watched a video where someone made a cheesecake.
Oh God!
Not that. Not
oh,
the
geez, we're gonna make
the Shrek with cheesecake.
We're gonna make this canon. Oh God!
Yeah, this is now canon on the podcast. Now, I didn't think it was gonna be canon to the podcast, but now.
But anyway, now he has to say it now.
The video of the Shrek cheesecake.
So anyway,
I have to explain.
So cheesecake in Shrek is a zebra cake and a Kraft single.
Okay, so everyone, there's this video that came out probably about 14 years ago or something like that.
2014.
Where a guy, 2014.
Yeah.
It's like 11 years ago. You're close. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a little more than that. But there's this video where a guy has puppets, and he made like a bunch of these puppet videos. And one of the characters is Shrek. And he wakes up in the morning and he needs cheesecake. So he gets the chef puppet to make him a cheesecake, but apparently the chef puppet doesn't know how to make a cheesecake and thinks cheese is cheese, not the sweet cheese that makes the cheesecake. So he puts a Kraft single on a fucking zebra cake and gives it to Shrek, who has to shit diarrhea doo-doo and asks the chef to wipe it.
I love how he said it so seriously.
That's basically the video. Am I wrong? Oh, Mario is in it. There we go.
The way you described it, though, is so funny.
Yeah, Mario's in it, and then Bowser's in it for like a split second, like putting his dish away.
Yeah, they're apparently characters in the universe. I don't know.
And then there's like an Italian chef that he keeps calling Chef PP.
Yeah, Chef PP, Chef Cock, stuff
Chef
like that.
Wiener.
Mm-hmm.
Just reminds me of that SNL skit where Phil Hartman's Frank Sinatra, and he's doing the Sinatra Group, which is like spoofing the McLaughlin Group, which is like a political talk show. And it's I showed this skit to Alex. It's my favorite SNL skit of all time. So in the skit, he's interviewing with Sinead O'Connor, and he keeps, because she's bald at that time, he kept calling her all these different names, and that's what that skit reminded me. That's what that video reminded me of. He's like, Uncle Fester.
That's funny.
Cue ball. Oh man, but yes, we had some cheesecake. I had sea salt caramel. Alex, I believe, had Oreo Extreme.
I did.
I bought that day.
I didn't want to say it while he was eating it, but there was chocolate on the top that looked like a kind of,
yeah,
it kind of looked like a dog, like a circular.
Yeah.
So for the first time, we actually went to 2 Barnes & Noble that day, which we never did before.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have movies I wanted, so we then went to another one. We didn't have to, but we decided, since it was going to be still open once we got there, we decided to go there as well. So, and I got Umbrellas of Cherbourg, and what else did I get? Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, yeah.
Alex's favorite movies. But it's also a really good movie, and I wanted to own it. I feel like I could be all set with my haul, although if I still have the money, I'm going to go and get Late Spring.
So I originally was only going to buy one movie. I try to limit it to one per sale now because I feel like my collection's at a good number now, but because we went to 2 locations, I was like, well, if they have something at the second location, I might as well get it. So at the first one, I got the Royal Tenenbaums and my first Wes Anderson movie to buy in honor of Gene Hackman. But then I also bought a new copy of, not Criterion, of Young Frankenstein, which I watch every Halloween.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch this version with Alex, which will be nice.
Yeah.
In October. And then at the other location we went to, I bought the 1968 version of Romeo and Juliet, which is probably, I have to see more, but it's probably my favorite Shakespeare adaptation. But again, there's a lot more I need to see.
There was that one.
I recommend you watch Wells' version, Chimes of Midnight.
Yes, I've been meaning to watch that for a while. Yeah. I remember because I felt so bad. I felt so bad because I don't remember, Matt, years ago I sent like an image from that movie in the chat. It was like for humor, and you're like, no, that scene is like actually really sad, and I felt like an a-hole.
You didn't know. You hadn't seen the movie, so you don't know. It's fine.
But there was
the. Don't know. I'm not sure if you know the play or that moment. That's fine. It's fine.
I'm somewhat familiar with the play, but no, I did not know that moment.
But wasn't there also that movie with Leo and Paul Rudd?
Oh, was Paul Rudd in that version too?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. I mean, I saw him once when I was in high school, and I don't think we watched the whole thing. Alex, what did you buy?
Thelma and Louise and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Cool.
Nice. Those are some good picks.
And I bought 2 others before I got together with these guys. Honora and Raging Bull.
Nice.
Yeah. Although
Very good.
I also will say I bought the John Adams TV show recently.
Oh, that's a good.
Oh, that's that. I recently watched that on the 4th of July. I binge watched the whole thing on the 4th of July.
Nice. You also watched my grandfather's favorite movie, Matt, Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. You mentioned Gene Hackman, right?
Yes.
So
Oh,
I
yeah.
recently watched a film with Gene Hackman in
Oh,
it.
yes. A great transition. Yes.
Yes. I watched the movie Night Moves. It was actually really good.
That's not where I thought you were going with
Yeah,
it. But...
so he plays an ex-football player and turned private investigator. He's having problems with his wife, and he's investigating like the missing daughter of this like ex movie star and stuff like that. It's really good. It's from the same director as Bonnie and Clyde.
That's cool.
Yes,
early this year I watched him in a movie I hadn't seen before, Get Shorty.
Oh, and
I watched.
Which one was that?
Superman.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
We'll have
Yeah,
the
so
music
Superman
playing.
came out last week, and when this episode comes out, probably like 2-3 weeks ago.
Or 4 or 5. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
probably.
when these go out.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Well, anyway, Superman will be out a few weeks when this episode comes out, so hopefully you checked it out because there might be some spoilers, although...
Yes, so we are going to be talking about all things Superman, at least the movies that we've watched.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to give an interlude on, you know how like you do sometimes, Matt, like a full like recap, like a history thing? Do you want me to do a recap?
I can do the history thing.
Okay.
So, and
You're
we'll
so
just
good.
talk about each
good.
movie.
You're just so good at that.
I'm just so good.
Yes,
so
he
good.
is.
So recently we have a brand new Superman movie, which I feel like we just haven't had in like years, because Superman's been in like other films. Like there was the Justice League films and the Batman v Superman and all that. The last
those were
Superman film, you can get to that. The last Superman film was Man of Steel, and that was back in 2013. Can you believe it?
Yeah, so it has been a while, and then his last appearance in Justice League, not counting the Snyder Cut, was 2017. So
oh yeah,
it's been almost 10 years since he's been in a movie, which it felt like it was more recent than that, but it actually wasn't.
Yeah, and this film is part of James Gunn's reboot of the DC films as part of the DC universe, or DCU. Not to be confused with DCU. The isn't that the banking?
Oh yes.
But anyway.
But at least this one has a name now, because then there was the DCEU, which was an unofficial name. But this is an official name, so yeah, not the bank.
So we all know Superman.
He's
been a mainstay in comics since Action Comics' first edition.
1938 question mark. Yeah, 1938.
Yeah, you got that right. The Superman, born Kal-El, the baby from the planet Krypton, come to Earth with superpowers from the rays of the sun. Grows up on a Kansas farm, moves to the city, and becomes a caped superhero, saving the world from all types of interplanetary threats. Or Lex Luthor, who is not interplanetary.
Or simply maybe saving a cat from a tree or a baby in a carriage.
True.
Right.
Him, along with a lot of the supporting characters like Lois Lane, the love interest, or his boss Perry White or friend and photographer Jimmy Olsen make up like most of the cast. Eventually, would expand to other comic book heroes that would eventually come out at around that time. So, Superman was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster back in 1938. That was Action Comics #1.
Yep.
And eventually would be adapted into various forms. Probably one of the most popular American made characters of the last 100 years, probably.
Yeah, and that's the symbol, the icon. Like they always say, it's the Superman logo, Coca-Cola, Mickey Mouse.
Right.
Like worldly known.
Mm-hmm.
Quintessentially American.
Apple pie.
Baseball.
So, and of course, he made it into cinema. Originally in the 40s, there was a animated little serials that came out from the Fleischer studios. I believe the first one was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was released to theaters by a Paramount, but made by Fleischer. They made like 17 or 18 little shorts. So, but they're very influential shorts. There was like comic book. There was like serials, because back in the 40s, like there was obviously feature length films, shorts. You had the in between segments where it would be like an animated short and then a news segment, and then you would have like 2 films in between or something like that. So, but they also had at the same time serials, which was sort of like pre-television. It was, in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, you would have shorter films that would kind of connect together as a sort of seeming a story kind of thing. You would go back to the theater to watch it every now and then.
Like Flash Gordon.
Yeah, like Flash Gordon from the 30s, but they did this with comic book heroes in the 40s. There was actually 2 Batman serials in the 40s as well, but there was also a Superman serial. But we're not going to talk about that because I don't think any of us here have watched that.
No, like I said, I think I might have seen one Batman serial.
Yeah, there was also 2 Superman serials. There was a Superman. It was just called Superman, and then there was like Atom Man versus Superman. So, and then in the 50s, then we get Adventures of Superman, which was going to be the Superman on television, starring George Reeves. His sort of breakout character as Superman. So a lot of people, their first viewing of Superman was George Reeves in the TV version. But before the TV version, they actually started with a feature film kind of pilot called Superman and the Mole Men.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
It's kind of like the sort of pilot of
pilot
the series.
Episode.
In a way, but they went to theater, and it's actually very short, like a little less than an hour. So, but it was the beginning of the television series Adventures of Superman, which ran for quite a few, like 100 episodes. It was very popular.
Yes,
to the point where George Reeves was very much typecast as Superman, and he played it until 1958, which is a year before his death.
Yeah, that was a pop. I remember my dad and my aunt, so my dad's sister. I remember they used to they watched obviously the repeats of that when it went into syndication, I think, and they liked it from what I know.
Yeah, I'd recommend, even though it's very kind of fictionalized version of the events, I'd recommend watching Hollywoodland, starring Ben Affleck as George Reeves, which kind of goes over some of the more conspiratorial aspects of the death of George Reeves. Know with a grain of salt that even though it's based on truth, it is very much a fictional telling of the events. So, but Ben Affleck is really good in the film, and I highly recommend it because it's one of his best performances.
Okay.
Which is very funny. He plays a person who plays Superman, and then eventually he would play Batman.
That is funny.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. And he also was another superhero before that. So,
Daredevil. That's right.
So, forget all that because I know neither of us have seen the shorts, neither of us have seen the serial, and neither of us have seen the Adventures of Superman.
No, I have
But
no.
We're going to talk about the first feature-length film, Superman, the movie. So back in the 70s, there was a producer called Ila Salkin. He convinced his father, Alexander, to buy the rights to Superman. They hired Mario Puzo of the Godfather fame to write a scenario for the film. They had this big idea to bring the origin of Superman to the theaters. So by 1978, we got Superman. So they got Gene Hackman in it, and he was going to play Lex Luthor. And they also got Marlon Brando.
As
Jor-El, Marlon Brando, The Godfather. So it's kind of like a reunion in that way. So, but they eventually reworked the screenplay with David and Leslie Newman and Robert Benton a little bit, with creative consultancy from Tom Mankiewicz, who was one of the writers in the James Bond series, and he is related. He's the son of Joseph Mankiewicz, which means he is the nephew of Herman Mankiewicz, Zack. Mank.
Yes, Mank.
But anyway, so eventually
and then Mank's grandson is Ben Mankiewicz.
Mank. Yes.
Host of TCM, Turner Classic Movies.
Yes, so eventually they drafted like 500 pages of script, and they figured that it was enough for not only one film but two films that they could be able to film simultaneously. And they went through like a bunch of possible film directors, like Spielberg at one point, because he was fresh off of making Jaws. They wanted to get George Lucas to do it, but he was too busy making his little independent science fiction film that probably wasn't going to make it, so whatever.
Star Wars.
And they were thinking Richard Lester, but he wasn't going to do it yet. And he also had like a little bit of beef with the Salkins at this point, money-wise, because they produced the Three Musketeers and the Four Musketeers and still homed him money and whatever. There was something like along those lines. So eventually they hired Richard Donner to bring this movie to life. He had just recently directed The Omen. Really good horror film, I recommend. So they hired him for Superman. And then the last thing, who should we get to play Superman?
Yes.
Now they have this is a big cast, right? This is a big cast, especially for the time. Brando and Gene Hackman, two Academy Award winning actors in their prime. You had historic acting talent. You had Jackie Cooper. You had Trevor Howard. You got Margot Kidder. You had Ned Beatty. You had Terrence Stamp in a little role.
Yes.
But you had, was it Susanna York?
Yes. Now, they thought of a bunch of people to play Superman. There's a whole section on the Wikipedia called Casting of Superman. They were looking for A-list actors: Redford, Reynolds, Newman, Stallone.
Oh, Stallone is Superman. I don't know. I can't really see that.
At one point,
No.
at one point, Caitlyn Jenner auditioned for the role.
Oh God.
All right, fresh off of. Did they win the decathlon or yet?
Yeah, it was. I
Because
think it
that's
was
what they were
after they.
famous. That's what
Yeah,
they
I
were
think it was
famous
after they
for.
won. It was after she won the Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and the the list goes on and on. Khan, Brolin, Nolte, Schwarzenegger, Neil
Oh yeah, and he wasn't
Diamond,
even famous yet.
Bronson, Beatty.
It's funny because this probably Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, this probably was the biggest like casting search or
Oh,
most talked about casting search probably since Scarlett O'Hara for Gone with the Wind, right?
oh yeah, it has to be. And then eventually they decide to look for a bunch of like
Unknowns.
unknowns. Yes. And they hit the nail on the head with this kind of lesser known actor who had just recently made it in the freshman class of Juilliard in their advanced program. One of two people in the advanced program at Juilliard. His name was Christopher Reeve. Do you know the other
Not
one?
related to George Reeves.
Not related to George Reeves. Do you know who that other actor in the advanced program at Juilliard was?
Robin
No.
Williams.
It was Robin Williams.
And they were roommates.
And they were roommates.
Oh yeah. Wasn't Robin Williams like the first person he saw after his accident?
Yes.
Yes, they were best friends.
Yeah, they were very good friends. They cameoed on an old SNL episode I recently watched like a couple weeks ago.
For context sake, Zack is binge watching a bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
SNL episodes, which
For
is
the
why
50th anniversary, yeah. So it was an episode that was going to introduce when Christopher Reeve was going to host that next week. So him and Robin Williams cameoed at the end of that episode, and we're like, Christopher Reeve is going to host next week's show. But yeah, they were best friends, and yeah, they went with an unknown actor from Juilliard and the stage.
yeah, so they hired Christopher Reeves, and he basically, when this movie came out, which was really expensive, it was one of the most expensive movies up till that point, because they also shot Superman 2 almost simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point they were like, okay, because they kept on being told like, oh, you're going over budget and over schedule and stuff like that. So at some point they stopped, added the original ending of the film for Superman 2, and then just tacked it on to the end of Superman 1, and then released the film.
So
And then
talking
we
about
got Superman.
Yeah, so let's talk about the first Superman.
It's really good.
It is really good.
It's more epic than you think it would be.
Yes. I really liked the origin story, and it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of almost like a little bit of a blueprint to superhero films that came after it.
Oh, definitely.
With the origins and the villain and the supporting cast and the action and all of that. And I forgot until I did some research before this episode. Yeah, I forgot that they filmed them simultaneously, which I feel like hadn't really been done before.
Now
So
they
they were
do
pretty.
it. Now they do it all the time. They did it with Avengers. They did it with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Did with Lord of the Rings.
They did it with Lord of the Rings. They did it
Did
with Harry Potter.
Back to the Future.
At least the last two Harry Potters.
Yeah, and the last
they
two
did it
Back
with
to the Future.
Twilight.
Yep. So this kind of unofficially or maybe officially set the trend for that. Big epic productions, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, there's probably a little more humor or cheesiness just because of the era it came out in, but I
It's
thought
so cheesy.
I thought it was the least cheesy of the original four, but I really like Gene Hackman in it. I really like Margaret Kidder as Lois Lane. Yeah, just overall, just very great movie. Marlon Brando's great in it too, and I believe he was one of, if not the first actor to say he would agree to do it if he got a percent of the overall movie's box office gross.
Yeah.
Which would later be done again by Jack Nicholson in Batman 1989. But
Yeah.
Alex, what did you think?
So, like I said, the movie is cheesy as hell, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
Like the first 20 minutes with on the planet, it just I know for the time it's made, it's not supposed to look real, but I thought those were the most cheesy parts of the movie. But
Yeah,
the action was good, and
so plot-wise, it's kind of what I said before when I talked about just Superman generally. It's his origin story. Krypton, the planet he's from, is being destroyed. His parents send him to Earth, and he lands in a spaceship uh, uh, in the town of Smallville in Kansas, where Jonathan and Martha Kent find him and raise him as Clark Kent.
yeah.
Then eventually, years later, he tries to find himself, where he then discovers his Kryptonian origin and decides to become Superman and to do good and fight for truth, justice, and the American way. But he does this under the guise of Clark Kent, where he will just be a normal reporter for the Daily Planet in the city of Metropolis, which in this film is very firmly New York. In other films, it's supposed to be this universe's thing in New York. No, in these films, it's like this is New York.
It's
See,
very
I thought in the
obvious.
Yeah, it is. But see, I thought in the comics it was supposed to be more like Chicago.
No, but it's
nope. In this film, it's New York.
Yeah,
It's literally New York.
In the fourth, that stupid ass Statue of Liberty.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. I can't wait to talk about the fourth one. We gotta get to it.
All right.
So he encounters Lex Luthor, who is a criminal mastermind, and I love Gene Hackman in this because I love how he postures his superiority and his intellect, and he's always like,
right.
He has like the comedic foil of his henchman. There's this sort of the bumbling Ned Beatty role,
right?
Which is really fun. So Lex Luthor's thing is to try to use nuclear missiles, to launch at the San Andreas Fault to create new beachfront property, basically. So, and Superman has to stop it. But one other thing, Clark, or rather Superman, is drawn to a fellow Daily Planet reporter named Lois Lane, who is played by Margot Kidder. And she's also really great in this. And the two of them have this really good chemistry in the film, where you have these wonderful romantic moments between the two of them, where they'll be flying. She is the reporter interviewing Superman and learning all about him, and then they'll be flying together, and it's obvious they have this sort of romance between the two of them, but he can't tell her that he's Clark Kent. He has to keep that identity a secret.
Oh yeah.
Or rather, he can't say that Clark Kent is Superman. Basically, so
Right.
the one thing I also is very underrated about this film is the performance of Christopher Reeve. The whole thing back then was you'll believe a man can fly, and I think for the time the visual effects are really good. But the one thing that people don't really, because he does really differentiate like Clark Kent versus Superman, and you can kind of tell in how he does the performance, because he's got this sort of way about him when he's in Clark Kent mode, where he's he's got a good like comedic kind of presence in at least in the first film.
Yes.
Where he's got this purposeful bumbling kind of thing going on, and it's all to serve the purpose of, you think this guy who keeps dropping everything and bumbling into people is Superman? Really? Come on now. And he's got this great way about him. I think a lot of people on Twitter will post this particular bit where he's talking to Lois in her apartment, and it's almost like he's about to tell her that he's Superman, and he takes off his glasses and then he straightens his back, and you can see like he's in Superman mode, right? But then he backs off and then he puts his glasses back on again. It's like he can change on a dime in a way, and you can really notice it. Because I know one thing that people always complain about Superman is like, how do people not know that he's Superman?
Right.
He just has glasses on.
Right.
And it's all about the way he performs and how he's like uses his body to differentiate the two characters. I think people underestimate Reeves' performance in the film. And what's very interesting is Brando and Hackman are credited above Christopher Reeves in the credits.
Yes.
Which is very funny. So I really like that. There's a lot of great moments that make this like a big widescreen American epic. And I watched the extended cut of the film. I didn't watch the theatrical version. I watched the extended cut. So that might have applied to made it more like big, but he is really this sort of great Boy Scout superhero saving cats from trees, and I love it. It makes you feel happy about it.
It
Zack,
does.
did you know there was an extended cut to this movie?
I didn't. I knew there was one for the second one, which we'll get to.
Which we'll get to. Yes, it's actually not an extended cut. It's a completely
director's
different movie.
cut.
It's an enhanced cut.
It's a completely different movie.
Oh yeah, the second one. Yeah.
So let's get into that.
Okay, Superman 2. So, like I said, they had like 500 pages of script for this epic Superman film. So they decided to just cut it in half. And when filming, while filming the first film, they decided to, since they were over schedule and over budget, they decided to just move some scenes around and release the film as is. So spoilers for the very first Superman film. It's almost 50 years old. So I watched it already now. So you should too. I highly recommend it. Leave the podcast, watch it, come back,
and then come back.
Listen. So the film ends with the San Andreas fault being exploded with the missile, and now it's earthquakes and is set to destroy most of California. And there, in this space, doing her reporting, sleuthing skills, trying to figure out who's buying all these useless tracts of land in Californian desert, is Lois Lane, and then she gets trapped in part of the fault as Superman is saving everyone and trying to close up this fault, but she ends up being buried under rubble, stuck in her car. And then when at the last moment Superman tries to save her, it is too late, and she is dead, which he then yells in great sorrow and pain, which reflecting is actually kind of interesting how he lost someone in the beginning of the movie, and it kind of mirrors that in this version of Superman at the end of the film. And then he decides to, I mean, it's not really explained how he knows how to do this, but in his grief, he decides to fly super fast around the Earth, reversing time ever slightly to prevent Lois's death. It's just ever so slightly before it were to even happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of him reversing time in order to change Earth trajectory was going to be the end of Superman 2. But like I said, due to budgeting constraints and scheduling and them needing to put the movie out in time, and the fact that the movie was already like 140 minutes when it came out, they just put it out as is, and then the remaining stuff was for Superman 2. But eventually the producers of the film, the Salkins, were butting heads too much with Robert Donner. And with most of the film complete, he
Zack,
he was eventually fired and then replaced with the previously mentioned Richard Lester. Now, Richard Lester is mostly known as a British comedy film director. He worked with the Goon Show, Peter Sellers and Spike Mulligan. He's not British, but he worked mostly in Britain at the beginning of his career. He did the first two Beatles movies, Hard Day's Night and Help, which was very Goon-like kind of sense of humor. And then he did the previously mentioned Three Musketeers and Four Musketeers, which are available on Blu-ray from Criterion.
Yeah.
So eventually he was hired to finish up what was remaining of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it's not too dissimilar from the... Eventually, there would be a cut of the film that would be released in 2006 that would cobble together what was originally conceived by Richard Donner and what was originally scripted for this alternate movie, alternate Superman 2, had it been directed by Richard Donner. It's usually called the Richard Donner cut. But since we're talking about Superman 2, and I think you two are the only one who've seen. I've only seen the Richard Donner cut.
So before I
tell
you the differences.
Tell me. Well, you go over you could go over the general plot of it first.
All right. So the general plot is we begin with a shots from the first movie where Zod and the two other villains that are imprisoned by Jor-El and the Kryptonian Council. The other two villains, I'm just looking up their names, are
Ursa and Nun.
Ursa and Nun. I would not have remembered that. Ursa and Nun, and they are trapped in what's called the Phantom Zone, which is like this glass thing, like almost like a mirror, and supposed to be in the universe forever, just floating away and around till their ultimate death. But then we go straight to current time, which is Superman, or I should say Clark Kent, goes to Paris to assist Lois Lane in her report on these terrorists that have taken hostages in the Eiffel Tower, and they have a hydrogen bomb, and Superman saves them, but he moves the hydrogen bomb into space where it explodes, which ushers in our trio of Kryptonian villains, freeing them, leading them to the moon, and then eventually to Houston, and then eventually to Metropolis, where they want to go face to face with the most powerful being on the planet Earth, which is, you guessed it, Superman.
And then
And
there's also the thing where it's like they get to go against the son of the person who imprisoned them
correct,
in
yeah.
in the visual Supertramp album.
Hmm. So then we also have this plot line where Lois Lane figures out that Clark Kent is Superman, which I believe, which I'll get into, is different than how they do it in the Richard Donner cut. So then it is revealed that the only way for Superman to love Lois Lane and live a normal life is to give up his powers. So he gives up his powers. He then proceeds to get beat up at a diner, which we'll get to in a second. And then he decides he wants his powers back because the three villains are there. And then ultimately, also, Lex
Oh yeah,
Luthor
they're
gets out of
taking over the
prison.
world and they force the president to surrender to them. Kneel before Zod.
Which the president reminded me like of a combination between Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, which made sense because of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then when the president surrenders, then Superman tries to get his powers back and goes back to the Fortress of Solitude. And then he does get his powers back, and then he proceeds to fight the villains. And then they fight again in the Fortress of Solitude, and he tricks them, making them lose their powers. And yeah, and then Clark Kent at the end decides that Lois Lane should probably not know that he's Superman, so he in the original cut, he kisses Lois Lane, giving her amnesia, forgetting everything. But then in Richard Donner cut, they repeat the first movie's ending again when he goes spins around the world, reversing back time. So essentially, in a way, some people say it makes the movie meaningless. um,
Which it
but
kind of does when you say it like that.
yeah, and then he goes back to the diner and beats up the guy that beat him up when he didn't have his powers. Did I miss anything, Alex?
No, I don't think so.
So I've seen both cuts. I know Alex has seen the original cut. Matt has seen the director's cut of Superman 2. So do you mind if I just talk briefly about the differences?
Go ahead.
So the differences is Marlon Brando, the big one was he was fighting with the producers in that they didn't fulfill his original agreement, which was to get something like, I think like 3-4% of the movie's box office gross. They didn't give him that. So then I think they settled. So he told them that he did not want his scenes that were originally meant for Superman 2 to be in the movie. So they replaced him with Susanna York, who plays Superman's mom in the Superman 2, but then in the not in the Richard Donner cut. Also, the characterization of Lois Lane's different. She seems more kind of already thinking that Superman is Clark Kent because of the way the first movie ends, where he has his glasses off, and then she briefly sees him without his glasses, and she suspects it, and she's like, "No, it can't be." So then in Richard Lester's version, they completely ignore that, and they start from the beginning of her figuring it out. And in the Richard Donner cut, she already is figuring out that he's Superman before they go to Niagara Falls, and it's revealed. Also, there's this whole, although I thought it was funny, but it's really doesn't mesh with the rest of the movie, when the villains are in Metropolis and they decide to the when Superman is like supposedly defeated, the towns, or it's just not townspeople, the city dwellers decide to rally in Superman's defense, but then General Zod proceeds to blow on them so that they go away, almost like in a blowy, windy
Oh,
windstorm.
he's
So then what
blowing
happens
them.
is all these like side gags. There's this guy. The funniest thing was Alex probably remembers this. There was this guy on roller skates and he's like going backwards. Some guy and his wife lose their wigs. Some person loses their hot dog. It's just like all these side gags that are completely removed in the Richard Donner cut. Also, Superman 2, they completely forget to show how Superman got his powers back. In the Richard Donner cut, I believe, Matt, from what I remember, that he goes back and he sees Jor-El, and Jor-El sacrifices like whatever his like, I guess
his
other
essence that is remaining from the
Fortress of
Solitude,
giving Superman his powers back. Well, in the second move, in the Richard Lester version, you just assume that he went back to the Fortress of Solitude and got his powers back, but they don't show how he gets his powers back.
That's so stupid.
I know. They just, right, Alex? It's just they completely don't show it.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
And also, there's his reveal to Lois Lane is also different in the Richard Lester's version. They do the same thing. She falls off Niagara Falls to try to get him to reveal he's Superman. They do all that, but then when they get back to the hotel room in Richard Lester's version,
she doesn't fall off the Niagara Falls. There's a kid that falls off of Niagara Falls that Superman saves, but she falls. She willingly jumps out of the Daily Planet. She confronts Clark, saying, "You're Superman, and I'll prove it." And then she jumps off the Daily Planet, and he has to quickly run down and try to jerry-rig away to have her just do an Indiana Jones into an awning, Or I guess at this point it was a Buster Keaton into an awning.
Yeah, so I guess.
And
yeah. Oh, thank you, Matt.
Save her then. But in the Richard Donner cut, she's always suspecting that the two are the same. And there's a scene in a hotel room where she pulls a gun on him and shoots him. And, Superman is impervious to bullets. And then he puffs out his chest and he's like, "Yes, I am Superman." But then she then is like, "Gotcha." It was actually blanks. So she kind of outwits him in a way.
And it's funny, they use
very clever.
They use test footage, like their audition test footage for that scene. So he doesn't.
They decided to just put in the test footage for that, but I think it's a really good scene nonetheless, even though it is a test scene.
Yeah, and then in the Richard Lester version, they get rid of the Metropolis falling off and they replace it with her falling off of a part of Niagara Falls. I think it's not like the touristy part; it's just like near their hotel room, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he proceeds to save her from the river or the falls that it happens in. He uses his laser eyes to cause a branch to fall into the river, and she catches onto it, saving her. And then he jumps in as Clark Kent to try to save her. And then when they get back, he's drying off, and then all of a sudden he accidentally drops his glasses into this pit of fire, and he picks up his glasses, and she's like surprised. She's like, "What happened? Is your hand burnt?" And then his hand's not burned. So then he reveals that he's Superman that way. So I like the Richard Donner cut version of that better.
Yeah, it's a little. Oh, I didn't burn my hand. It's a little more lame than.
Yeah. I guess they just had to think of something quick, so they were just like, "Oh, have him burn his hand." And then
we also didn't mention that Gene Hackman was also not coming back after they fired Robert Donner.
Richard
Donner. No, it's Richard Lester, and it's
Richard Donner.
It's also Richard Donner.
Yeah, okay. Different Richard. Yeah.
Cut.
So that would explain why he's not in the third one. Then what a minute.
Cut.
Yeah, so that's why he's not in the third one.
Hold on,
that's why he
stop. I'm gonna restart again. So also Gene Hackman who's in it, the film as Lex Luthor. He's like this conniving little, I'm gonna side with the evil aliens in the film. So those are all footage that he shot with Richard Donner. He just left after they had fired him.
So then all
footage of Lex Luthor is just that, and they weren't able to shoot any more without him. So
right,
which is also probably why his last scene in the Richard Donner cut is very abruptly cut short.
Yeah, he's also in it. Some scenes he's in it a few seconds more in the Richard Donner cut, as opposed to this version where, for some reason, we don't see Lex Luthor for like 45 minutes. And he appears suddenly when their villains are at the White House. So like, there's
That's
a time
weird.
of it when he's not in it for like, right, Alex? You probably caught that.
I did catch that, and I thought
he's not
that
in it for like 45 minutes, and then he comes back, which, like Matt said, that was footage that Richard Donner had already shot.
Yeah, there's this whole thing where Lex Luthor escapes out of jail, and
that's all in there.
Yeah, and he uncovers the whole Fortress of Solitude and stuff like that, and then he figures out the connection between Superman and these three villains that have come to Earth, who now want to. All they wanted to do on Krypton was to rule over Krypton, basically, but as with Zod as the leader, and that's why that they were considered traitors and thus put in the Phantom Zone. And now that they're out of the Phantom Zone, they found this other place, Earth. They originally call it Houston as an error.
Yeah, which is funny.
They come onto Earth and they're like, this place, we're strong here. We have superpowers from the yellow sun. We can now take over this puny Earth, And then Lex is like, I will try to find a way to connive myself to getting power and land from these three people. And he's like, I want Australia. Or I want I can give you the son of Jor-El if you give me Cuba.
It's so random.
It's fair, but he's the Lex Luthor in the films is a really a real estate guy. In all the Superman films, he's very like land,
Yeah.
Because he knows how much land we'll get, and he knows how much money he'll get from the land. So it's always land, because that's what his dad said. Besides, get out, and you're losing your hair. It was the most important thing is land.
So after Superman 2, we want to say that there's this movie from 2006 that's more canon to that.
Yes. Oh, I want to say my opinion on the Donner cut. It's good, but it doesn't match us with the original. And because you can mostly tell that there's like, it's a very unfinished film, so it's a little uneven in that respect. So there's like visual effects that put in to kind of match up with the original idea. But there's things that I think work, and I do think that I like the reversing overall of time in that context, but I'm completely fine with it in the original film. So I don't know what a Superman 2 would be my happy medium of the other films. So I'm not entirely sure, but I really don't like the idea of the amnesia kiss. It's very gross to me. So
yeah, no, that's fair.
It's very, very gross to me, and so I think I'll.
But then it's hard because then they just reuse the ending from.
Yeah, and then I'm like, didn't he do this again? So I thought before I read, and I was like, oh, that was originally supposed to be the end of the whole thing, and it wasn't going to be the end of Superman 1.
So what was the original
ending?
I thought,
he just says, fuck it, let me do this again.
So wait, so how was the original one supposed to end? Was it supposed to be like a to be continued?
The original film, I think it just ends like I'm not 100%, but she doesn't end up dead. I know that.
So she just doesn't end up dead and the movie just ends?
Yeah,
That's stupid.
He captured the villains. Like, I'm assuming he saves her in a way. I'm not 100% sure on how the original film was supposed to end, but he probably saves her from death, maybe.
And then it just ends.
And then he captures Lex and puts him in jail, and then it ends.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, but
It's tricky.
the end is strong of Superman 1 as it is, and I don't mind how it's done in the Donner cut. Although okay, so in the Donner cut, he does the he destroys the villains. The Fortress of Solitude is destroyed. He kisses Lois and then brings her home, but they have this sort of realization that the two of them can't really be together, and it won't really work. Because of the whole power situation and the whole dynamic of like he had to lose his powers and had to be human in order to do that, but he can't be human because he had to save people, and it's kind of like the thing that he has to do. So there's almost like that realization, and instead of doing an amnesia kiss, he just does the whole time reversal thing and brings it back to before General Zod and the others came in. So he does that, and he keeps them locked into the Phantom Zone. Which I guess means Lex is not stuck in the Fortress of Solitude, and the Fortress of Solitude is not destroyed. But this also means that Lois Lane does not know that Clark Kent is Superman. Although they still have like a feeling that there's like a lot of stuff that happened that they don't fully remember. And that's kind of how it ends, except for one scene where as Zack mentioned, there's a scene where in a bar Lois gets sexually harassed earlier in the film, and by this very rude patron, and then beats up the unpowered Superman Clark Kent. Well, he comes back now with powers to beat up this guy. But this doesn't make sense because the guy in this timeline did not harass Lois Lane.
So I don't know why they. So that shows that it's uneven.
I don't know why he's now beating up just a rude guy that wasn't
stupid.
rude to Lois. So I'm like, why is Superman just beating up this random guy? I mean, he doesn't do it as Superman, but it's kind of.
But also, to that diner or bar, they know that this guy's an idiot. I think someone commented like, "Oh, here comes Mr. Wonderful." So people know he's like a bad person that comes into this place. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't make as much sense in the Richard Donner cut as it does in the regular one.
So I don't like the scene, but there you go.
But yeah, just one last thing.
Like I said, mixed bag. But
the only other thing I wanted to say was that's pretty much all the changes. The other thing is they make Non like more of a buffoon in Superman 2.
Oh no.
Like they were like, oh, I think Zod or Ursa's like, oh, we all have the same powers, and then General Zod's like, oh, well, actually, I don't think we don't have all the same powers. So then Non tries to use his like laser vision, and it's not working, and it just becomes this continuous gag for like the next half hour of the movie, and then finally in the small town he is able to do it, and he causes like this huge fire thing to happen in the town.
But anyway, like Alex was saying.
Yes.
Superman 3, Alex. Go ahead.
No, well, the third one, he was a continuation.
So there's a movie from 2006 that's technically canon to 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Where Kevin Spacey, Superman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
Superman Returns. So, so we'll flash forward for a second. So after years of no Superman, Warner Brothers decided to make Superman Returns, which is a film that ignores previous sequels that we'll talk about soon, and makes this the third film in, I guess, a trilogy. But in this one, Brandon Routh is Superman, Kate Bosworth is Lois Lane, and the noted Kevin Spacey
is Lex Luthor.
Is Lex Luthor, the noted canceled film actor Kevin Spacey.
Yes.
Who I remember when this movie came out, because the scene where Kevin Spacey yells at Lois Lane saying "Wrong" became a meme.
An early meme.
Yeah, like an early internet meme. Wrong.
What a douchebag.
So I only saw this movie once, and I saw it years ago. But I remember thinking, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It doesn't have this sort of.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a little too long, and it's not as comedically foiled as the other films are, where it's like kind of charming and a bit like a little campy.
Yeah,
but
for 2.5 hours.
For 2.5 hours, I want to be thrilled and I want to have a few laughs, but I want to be shocked a bit. But yeah, it's fine. So the basic plot is Superman has been missing for 5 years, and it's because like a bunch of scientists thought they found what remained of Krypton, and he decided to just go up and look for it. And he comes back, and he's like, "Yep, there's nothing there." But in the meantime, it's like everyone's kind of left him. Lois won a Pulitzer for writing an article about like
Superman,
called, like why the world doesn't need Superman, or like fuck Superman, you know. Which spoilers in the film, apparently she did.
Oh God.
And she has like a 5-year-old son. So originally it's like, is it Superman's, or is it her boyfriend, Richard White, who is Perry White's nephew?
So that's why it can't be, the Richard Donner cut can't be canon.
Yeah, that's why I also thought that the Richard Donner cut can't be canon, because there is a scene where in Superman 2 where they do sleep together, but that's negated by the whole time reversal thing. So
is it Superman's son?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember. I didn't even remember that part.
Yeah, I mean, there's a scene where the son throws a piano at one of the villain because he's hurting his mom.
Or I guess that's a little bit comedic.
Yeah, this kid kills a guy with a piano. Now thinking about it, it is kind of funny. So basically, the film, Lex Luthor is back, but he is more jaded and eviler than before. That probably has to do with the fact that he's played by Kevin Spacey.
Right.
And he is hatching a plan once Superman returns.
Nice.
To steal kryptonite, because that's a thing that he's always done in like he did in the first film. He used kryptonite against Superman. Found out that it was his weakness, which is basically the remaining rock from Krypton. So uses kryptonite to make this large. Oh, and then steals something from the Fortress of Solitude, crystals that he learns the power to harness. And creates a crystal island off the coast of the United States, which will keep growing and eventually subsume the United States and become great oceanfront property.
Nice.
What is he also wants to use it to destroy Superman. That's one of his main goals in this film as well, because it's crystal, but also kryptonite. So in the film, like, Superman comes back after a couple years of being away. Everything's changed. His mom is now played by Ava Marie Saint. His former boss is Frank Langella, and his former girlfriend is dating James Marsden. Before he started working with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Also, Kal Penn is one of Lex Luthor's henchmen. I thought that was weird.
That is weird.
I mean,
again,
I was like, what, is he paying you in
I
White Castle? Like, what?
I don't remember any of this movie. I will probably watch it again at some point.
It's okay. It's not as bad, but I feel like, man, it feels a little long, and it doesn't feel as jovial as the first film.
I'll say the other two movies are long, but this is like long? An extra half hour.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought too, Alex? It was just okay?
I mean, I watched it on my way home from New York. So I watched it on my phone.
You watched it on your fucking phone.
And yes, it did feel a little long, and it was all right. But
I don't think I could stare at my phone that long.
Well, no, I took breaks.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get through this. Let's go back in time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we have like 3 more movies to talk about. So yeah.
So
we'll get through these two.
Looking at the budget in the box office of Superman 2, it's clear that they were gonna make a third one.
Well, also too, Matt, I forgot to mention that at the end of Richard Lester's Superman 2, it says Superman will return in Superman 3.
Oh, so it was predestined. Okay.
It was. Because they must have known that this was going to be a success.
It was going to do gangbusters.
Yeah.
Because
at least we'll maybe get a trilogy out of this.
Yeah, so Richard Lester returns to direct Superman 3, and apparently on a interview show or something like that, Richard Pryor was being interviewed, and they talked about Superman, and he mentioned how he'd love to be in Superman, in a Superman film. And apparently they were like, yeah, let's do it.
Right. Yeah, let's do this thing.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know or are too much of a youngin', Richard Pryor was a famous stand-up comedian from the, I would say, about
70s.
The 70s and into the 80s, best known for films like Silver Streak and See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
The Wiz.
The Wiz. He was in, but he was also in dramas. He was in Blue Collar from Paul Schrader and stuff like that. So, but they cast him, weirdly enough, in Superman 3 as a pseudo villain or a side villain, but mostly as a sort of comedic role set against Superman. They make this a goddamn comedy. There's a whole comedic bit in the beginning where a bunch of things there's a blind guy and he's like rolling one of those things that paint the road, they put the lines on the road. There's like phone booths that get knocked over somehow.
It's dumb.
It's really dumb. It's some really dumb slapstick in the beginning. So
this is when the series started to go down.
Yeah, so this came out in 1983, and like I said, it stars Richard Pryor as Gus Gorman, who he can't hold a job to apparently save his fucking life, but he's hired at a firm for a wealthy industrialist who's played by Robert Vaughn. So knowing him from I'm like, Oh, I bet he's gonna be a stand-up individual in this film.
And sure enough, he was, right?
Oh yeah, no, he's basically the villain, the stand-in for Lex Luthor. Although
Which is so dumb.
Would have preferred it to have been Lex Luthor. I'm like, why? Why couldn't it just been like why?
I know, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
So the plot revolves around Richard Pryor apparently being a computer genius. Starts work on this supercomputer that would basically change aspects of like it changes the weather at one point because the Robert Vaughn's character has a beef with Colombia and because of a dispute with or trade with coffee. So the computer controls weather, the computer controls routes of oil tankers and stuff like that. So it's apparently trying to manipulate things in order for them to become mega wealthy or something like that. Let me tell you, this movie's boring as fuck. This movie has like comedy, but it's boring as fuck. And for the first half hour, it does nothing. This is me being so critical. The previous movies, I'm either saying it's all right or it's really good but very flawed, or the first one where I'm like, oh, it's a very epic kind of film. It's beautiful to look at. It's got great performances, a great score from John Williams that we haven't mentioned yet, but it's fantastic and iconic.
That's great score.
This film, boring as fuck. I was watching it and I was falling asleep. I don't know if it was because of the movie or because it was like almost 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I agree. This movie sucked.
So basically the plot of the other part of the film, because it's kind of two parts, there's the Gus Gorman becoming first he embezzles money, and because he embezzles money, the CEO of the company is like, I'm going to use you to do computer stuff, and I'll blackmail you if you don't do it. So he does that. But meanwhile, Superman is going to his high school reunion and reconnects with his childhood friend, Lena Lang. Who he kind of has like a little fling with. And I think the reason for this is because they didn't want to use Lois Lane because the producers had a thing against Margot Kidder because she said some mean things about them after they fired Donner for Superman 2.
Oh my God.
Let's limit your role to about 5 minutes and 12 lines.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Exactly.
But this movie's not as dog shit as Superman 4 Quest for Peace.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't. There's nothing much to talk about Superman 3. It's very kind of boring, and he wins against them and destroys the computer. There is a scene where he fights himself because in the middle of the film he like has this crisis where people are like, where he's like, oh, I can't do good, and then he starts doing like kind of asshole-ish things because of a rock that Richard Pryor gives him, and then he like splits himself and fights himself. That's probably the only interesting scene in the movie. The rest of this movie is boring as fuck. But Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, oh my fucking God.
It's so bad.
It's so bad, I never finished it.
I think this movie, okay, I think this movie is so bad it's good.
Yes.
Because it's also hilarious.
Oh, it is. There's this fucking scene in the movie where fucking John Cryer helps Lex Luthor escape from prison.
He's got this like comb over. He looks like a reject from Mad Max.
He does. And like I was telling Zack, this guy plays Lex Luthor in the Supergirl show. So no consistency, but that's besides the point. Like this fucking random guy from 2.5 Men, he's in this fucking movie. His hair's a fucking.
He looks like a character from like the Power Rangers or Pokemon.
He does. There's like this scene where like I can't remember who it was, but he's like flying John Cryer across a room, and
no, it's that was Nuclear Man. Nuclear Man is like pointing at him, and he like flies him across the room, and he's like, "Oh no, oh no." Wait, I wasn't paying attention at that moment. I was like, "Wait, what the fuck? What? How did he deliver that line?" Oh, no. And I had to rewind the movie to hear John Cryer deliver the line going, "Oh no." I'm like, what? Okay, you want me to break down Superman 4 a little bit?
Just briefly, please.
Okay, so I'll do it. So after Superman 3, it was critically lambasted. It wasn't really well received. Christopher Reeves thought, "Oh, I'm getting too old to be Superman," and eventually the Salkins, the producers of the first 3 films, eventually lost the rights to Superman. Eventually, it would fall into the hands of what is the producers known as the Cannon Group, who are basically 2 producers, 2 Israeli producers. They were cousins, Menachem Golan and Yoran Globus, also known as Golan Globus. The Cannon Group is a very infamous production group, mostly from the 70s and 80s, that did like a bunch of 80s action B films. Just a bunch of B films in various different genres to try to see if they can like just expansive, flood the market, make a profit off of B films and see what sticks. So they were the guys who thought, "Oh, we should make Death Wish into a franchise." They were the ones that gave Chuck Norris a job in the 80s. But they were also the ones that financed such critically acclaimed films as The Apple or Tough Guys Don't Dance, the Lou Ferrigno Hercules film, or the Breakin' films with the fantastically titled Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. But they also had works from they gave John Cassavetes his last independent film, Love Streams, and they also gave Jean-Luc Godard a chance to weirdly adapt King Lear. So they weren't above like doing more interesting like independent artsy projects. So eventually they got their hands on Superman and were tasked of doing Superman 4, which eventually Christopher Reeve decided to do, with Gene Hackman returning as Lex Luthor.
Yep.
The only thing is, with the Cannon Group and with Golan Globus, their thing was make a lot of films and try to do it as quickly and as cheaply as possible. At this year, 1987, they had 30 films in production at one time. Superman 4 being one of them. So, not a lot of time and care was put into this film. So, they got Christopher Reeves back, but only under the condition that he pitch a story for Superman 4. And his story was to have a storyline that was focused on something that was dear to his heart, the idea of or a protest against nuclear arms. Because he was very much against military buildup and the idea of arms control. So they accept this story, and they basically wrote this story, and it is wow.
It's just, I have no words for how bad.
Can you believe that they also thought they were going to get Wes Craven or at one point Ron Howard to direct this? But no, they get Sidney J. Fury.
And what
Who
is
the
he?
hell is that?
Sidney J. Fury, he did like spy films, but he's best known for like making genre films and making them well. Like he directed the horror film The Entity, which Martin Scorsese calls one of the scariest horror films ever made. His Vietnam film The Boys in Company C is one of the films that inspired Kubrick in the making of Full Metal Jacket. So he did the Iron Eagle franchise, which is his big action franchise. He did spy films like Ipcris Files or kitchen sink queer dramas like The Leather Boy. So he's a director that did it all. But I think the thing he's most well known for in the public sphere is unfortunately Superman 4. And in this film, Lex Luthor returns, and he is broken out of jail by his nephew, Lenny, played by the aforementioned John Cryer, looking like a man who couldn't make it in a Gotham gang.
Yeah.
And they have the wonderful plan of taking a strand of Superman's hair and trying to clone him through nuclear means, while Superman, tasked by the letter of a child, is trying to do nuclear disarmament that he was able to plan with the rest of the world at the UN.
Right.
At the same time, the Daily Planet is being taken over by a wealthy tycoon, and Clark Kent develops a crush on the daughter of said tycoon, Lacey Warfield, played by Mariel Hemingway. And Jackie Cooper is having none of this. In fact, he is having so much none of this. This is one of his last big films that he was ever in.
Oh God. I also remember that I never finished the movie, but I remember the UN scenes with Superman. It looked so cheesy and just looked like a green screen.
Yeah, they couldn't get really big budget, so instead of like having him like land on 42nd Street and then having him walk into the UN building, they just have him walking in a parking lot where they filmed or whatever. You know?
It's so dumb.
So basically, through energy discharge and through cloning means, they create a being known as Nuclear Man, who has basically the same powers as Superman, but he has Gene Hackman's voice.
So weird.
But
so
yeah,
this movie comes in at a nice crisp 90 minutes.
Yeah,
apparently there was 40 minutes
Superman
of
movie.
Apparently there was 40 minutes of deleted scenes.
40 minutes.
You can tell. I like how they go into a museum and they steal a strand of Superman's hair by cutting it, even though it's holding up like 1,000-pound weight. I like how they're able to cut it, even though apparently it's so strong it can hold up 1,000-pound weight.
That's crazy.
So there's a lot of those scenes in sitcoms where one person has to be in two different places.
Oh yeah.
There's a scene where Clark Kent kind of does that with Superman and Clark, but he's dating. He is at a date with both Mario Hemingway and Marco Kidder for an interview with Superman. It's just
stupid.
There. Oh, and then he fights Nuclear Man, and oh my god, the scene with the fucking. Oh my god. the scene with the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
Oh my god. They were trying to shoot for the moon with these special effects, weren't they? Like, oh my god. They thought Don't worry. This is just the first cut. It'll look fine in post. Wait, the movie's out tomorrow? What?
Let me find the scene for Zack.
Oh my god. It's wild. And then the slow motion fight on the moon. Oh my god.
I've seen that scene.
Oh my god.
That's so bad.
Yeah, it definitely is a kind of movie where you watch it and you're like, okay, this is when a series has kind of
jumped the shark.
Not jumped the shark, died. It's in a ditch, kind of thing.
It's like Batman and Robin.
It's so and I adore Batman and Robin for almost similar reasons because it's bad, but it's so funny. It's so goddamn funny. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And
so man.
But
like I said, then all of that was after the poor reception of Superman, it went dormant for
years.
It was unfortunately
development hell,
and that was unfortunately Christopher Reeve's last performance as Superman. He wouldn't go back, even though they pitched an idea called Superman Reborn, which would have him facing like Brainiac and stuff like that. But unfortunately, Christopher Reeve would have his unfortunate accident while riding a horse. He would fall off the horse, and it would leave him paralyzed from the neck down, which was a very, very tragic kind of accident. But
he still made movies, though.
He still made movies after that. He
even directed a movie.
He even directed a movie. He still had this really Superman kind of esque spirit where he would eventually like have this big
foundation.
Foundation, yes. He started this foundation. So
yeah, as mentioned, he passed away in 2004.
He would eventually pass away in 2004. Yeah, even I think the Donner cut is in his memory.
Right, and probably Superman Returns. And Marlon Brando appears in Superman Returns. The only reason is because I was reading last night, he died also in 2004, and his family allowed them to use unused footage from Superman 2 for Superman Returns and the Richard Donner cut.
I also forgot.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I also forgot. In the 80s, there was a Supergirl film, but I don't think we
can get into that next year when Supergirl comes out.
Yeah, true. It's actually directed by the same guy that directed Jaws 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
no, I haven't seen Supergirl. Zach told me I don't have to. So
Yeah,
No,
so,
don't.
but I hear it's
At least
not
not
good.
till next year.
But this all leads into the James Gunn movie.
Yes,
Wait, hold on. There was a lot of other things. There were so many films that were in production that was scrapped. Like I said, Superman 5. There was Superman Reborn. There was Superman Lives. Did we forget about that? The Kevin Smith pitched Tim Burton,
Nicolas Cage
as
Oh
Superman
yeah.
film.
Oh yeah.
That had like a large life and an online community, so much so that there's a fucking documentary about it.
And they had to frickin' put a cameo of him in The Flash.
Oh God, that's right.
Can I just
Mm.
mention how I feel like the Flash movie is like one of the worst big budget movies of the recent last half a decade? I feel like it's a film that encapsulates everything wrong
With Hollywood.
with Hollywood and movie making and at this point in time.
It's too bad because that was that was a good director too. So, but supposedly he's doing a Batman Brave and the Bold movie. So,
Oh gosh.
hopefully it'll be better.
I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about it.
Anyway, there'll be time for that.
There was that. There was
Superman, was Superman triumphant, or am I thinking of Batman?
There was Superman Flyby. That's Batman. Batman triumphant.
Oh, Flyby. That's right, Flyby.
There was Superman Flyby, the J.J. Abrams film that was in development. Haven't seen a lot of J.J. Abrams contributions to other franchises before. I feel like we really dodged the bullet there.
Oh, jeez.
I'm Matt with the J.J. Abrams hate. I don't hate him.
He is a good filmmaker. I just think
Mission Impossible 3 was mid, and I will not forgive him for the Rise of Skywalker. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Does it feel better you let it out?
It's fine.
Yeah, so tons of movies in development.
They were going to make a Superman Returns sequel with Brandon Routh, but he would never reprise it. The only time he would reprise the role would be in the Crisis on Infinite Earths CW Bonanza. the Arrowverse crossover, which is weird because he starred as a different character in Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. Whatever. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. There was the Justice League film that was going to be directed by George Miller. And then we get to 2013 with, oh boy, I love this film.
Man of Steel.
It's Man of Steel. What's interesting is that this film has a somewhat of a similar storyline to the first two films, the Donner films, but
And he
minus
looks
the Lex Luthor.
And Henry Cavill looks like Christopher Reeve. Although I guess all of them kind of do after Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. Brandon Routh was cast because he does look a little like Christopher Reeves.
I mean,
although
I know
in that film they quote a lot from the original film, a little too much for my liking.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, is this a reboot or are you just playing coy with a lot of your references. I see you trying to do the Action 1 holding the car up reference. I see what you're doing. I see you're trying to do that. Bryan Singer.
Oh God.
But Man of Steel is also directed by the wonderful Zack Snyder.
He has my same name, so I try not to hate on him too much. I respect his vision
It's
for
just
when making movies. It just unfortunately a lot of the times what he makes doesn't come out that good.
Well, luckily, my name isn't Zack, so I.
He spells it the same way too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if his name
ZACK.
was Matt Snyder. Actually, no. I don't think I would have the same feelings. Let it be known that I do not care for Man of Steel.
I don't either.
I
You don't
think
think it was
it's
you don't think it was
gray, boring, drab, and part of this era of comic book filmmaking where every film had to be deadly serious. I kind of blame The Dark Knight for this. I feel like a tendency towards seriousness with your fucking comic book superhero kind of leads itself to exposing the core of the story, which is ridiculous at the heart of it.
It was like when they made the Amazing Spider-Man dark also.
Batman v Superman is so much worse than Man of Steel, though.
Which one?
Batman v Superman.
Oh yeah.
And also, let it be known that actually Man of Steel is one of the few movies that I technically haven't finished.
Oh, you got
a film I've kind of rage quit after watching because I'm like, fuck this. How much longer do I have of this film?
I still thought
minutes.
I still thought Henry Cavill was a good Superman, though.
He's all right, but where's the sort of love for humanity? Where's the jovial nature? Where is the I want to save humanity because I love humanity? Where's the goofy Clark Kent? We don't see him as the reporter Clark Kent until the very last part of the movie. We don't see any of that.
Nope. It's bullshit.
He goes through, he's sad about his dad, and then he's mad. He said he couldn't save someone, and then he's mad. Then he's sad, and then he's mad. He kills Zod. Now he's mad.
We don't have to talk about Man of Steel.
It's so gray and drab and boring.
Let's just talk about the James Gunn Superman.
Which is kind of the opposite. I like it. I like the new James Gunn, but I think it's mostly I like sort of James Gunn's more unique, bright, jovial, comedic styling of comic book movies. I do think you're thrown into the movie a little bit. You're kind of thrown in media res a little bit, and you have to kind of pick up the pieces alongside. But I enjoy it. I don't think I love it as much as everyone else does, but I feel like it's a decent start to a decent looking reboot, and I feel like the way we go about with the character, I think is really good. I like how every character plays in the film and has their own unique traits, like Superman, like Mr. Terrific, like I like Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor because he's kind of like a slightly different take. But the one thing I really like with Lex Luthor, he grandstands always about his genius, and that's one thing that I think Gene Hackman did very well, almost in a comedic kind of way. We kind of see like, oh, this Lex is very much supposed to be a sort of Steve Jobs, Elon Musk kind of like, ooh, I'm a smart guy, posturing genius. But in the beginning, he doesn't say it because he's doing all this stuff. He's in going through portals. He's threatening people. He's doing all this stuff. But at the very end, then he's like, I am a genius. I want people to notice me for being a genius. They can't even comprehend how much of a genius I am. And I think that's really good. Also, I like how Nicholas Hoult looks like this the Twitter comedian with the bald head. I forget his name at the moment, but you know who I'm talking about?
I think so.
Yeah, he does like a bunch of things like he like painting his face red and then yelling at the camera. Ah! Ah! Like that.
Oh God.
I like his stuff. It's very good. And Nicholas Hoult visually reminds me of that guy. I don't know why.
Is it some bald guy? Is that his Twitter account?
No, he's not called some bald guy.
That must be somebody else. I can't find it.
Once I figure out the name, I'll put it right here in the pod. There
All
we
right.
go. So, I do visually. I think it's we see like nice bright blues, nice bright whites, nice reds, and stuff like that. So I feel like this really makes it distinct from Zack Snyder's very gray, dark aesthetic. I know it's a different kind of thing, and I shouldn't really critique because it's the aesthetic that he was going for. I just particularly didn't care for it. I think the visuals are in the new Superman are a little chaotic. That might be just a personal preference.
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like it's a really good film, and I like how people have been reacting to it. Apparently, there has been a massive uptick in dog adoptions because of the film, with the inclusion of Crypto in it, who is a very good addition to the film. There's a lot of little like things that I kind of like about it. Like it's at one point it's very personal with like there's this great scene with Clark and Lois. What's great about this is like all pretense of like, oh, you gotta hide the identity of Clark Superman is gone in this film. Thank goodness.
Yes, because he spent this is 3 years into him being Superman.
So we're dropped into a Superman who's already Superman, who's doing a Superman things, and people know him as Superman. So we don't have to have the pretense of like, oh, she has to find out he's Superman.
I feel like too many people knew, though. A little bit.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Like his boss knew, his coworkers knew, his super friends knew.
The super friends make sense. So in this film we have the Justice Gang, which is a horrible name.
What's meant to be.
Which is Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawk Girl.
Not Hot Girl, Hawk Girl.
No, I heard you.
That's
I know.
Those are the same people. Just kidding.
Yeah, I thought Mr. Terrific was one of the highlights for me of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Hope he gets like a spin-off.
There's interesting personal moments, like the scene that I mentioned where it's like the interview with Superman and stuff like that, and then interesting like political context as well, because in the movie, so plot-wise, I won't spoil it too much since it's a relatively new film, but there are two countries. What is it? The country names.
Oh God. I don't
There's
know.
Barovia and Jarhanpur. And Barovia, in the before the movie time, was going to invade its neighboring country of Jarhanpur, which feels like a sort of commentary on either Israel and Palestine or even Russia and Ukraine, maybe even a mix of both. But it's obvious like this larger country, which is an ally of the United States, is invading this smaller neighboring country for its own benefit, but also at the behest of billionaire Lex Luthor, who is bankrolling the invasion for some reason. I won't say why. So in this movie, Superman has to come to terms with, try to figure out his involvement and what it means to take political action and stuff like that, and also has to deal with a fallout from a message that came out from his parents. So, and how the world sees him differently and how that kind of changes. So, not too much of a spoiler there, but be sure there's a lot of fun moments, gags and stuff like that that you find in the James Gunn film. There's a lot of moments in James Gunn films that I think are really fun because he gave us some of the best recent DC and Marvel films. So I think the Guardians films are the best, some of the best of the Marvel films.
Yeah.
And The Suicide Squad was one of the best of the DC EU films. So there was that.
Yeah.
And I like his style of being able to showcase everything that happens within an action scene through camera movement. And it's a specific way that the camera moves, and then using music montage in that kind of way. So I kind of like that style. So if you like James Gunn, I think you'll like this film. And just think, in 15 years, he went from Super to Superman. And I think that's my last thing I'll say about that. And then, does anyone want to add? And then we'll end with our ranking.
I don't have anything else.
Do you, Zach? Zach attack?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no problem.
I didn't know I was muted. Yes, I Lois Lane and Clark's relationship was really good in the movie. I thought
With Rachel Brosnahan.
Rachel Brosnahan. Is that a Peter Griffin voice?
I don't know. I that's how I imagine our friend, our mutual friend, Sean would say.
Yeah,
say
Rachel
like
Brosnahan.
Rachel Brosnahan.
And David Corn Sweat from Pearl and Twisters. I thought they were really good. Again, everything that Matt said, I guess my only critiques for the movie were that I feel like there wasn't enough Clark Kent. See, I'm someone that likes a lot of Clark Kent as well as Superman. I still love Superman, but I think the movie could have used a little more Clark Kent. And I also thought the middle scenes with the pocket universe stuff was just there was just too much going on, like on the screen at points. And yeah, those are my only two critiques. But yeah, I love the movie overall, and I look forward to seeing. I look forward
Sorry,
to seeing.
there was like some weird mic fusion there, but sorry about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I look forward to, like Matt said, seeing what. Hopefully, this universe is better than the last DC universe, and I'm looking forward to seeing what James Gunn does, and his humor and everything reaffirms that I do like his style of filmmaking. But great job to everybody overall that made the new Superman movie.
Mm. All right.
All right, Alex, your ranking, if you had to do one.
All right. So the new one, Superman 1, Superman 2. Oh, wait. Yeah. Superman
Yeah,
Returns. 3, and then a Quest for fucking god awful piece of shit movie.
Matt.
Okay, I'll do this from the bottom to the top. So, what is it? 7 films that we talked about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, number 7, Man of Steel.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't count Man of Steel.
Oh, where
Uh,
would you put that, Alex? Second or
Uh,
third from bottom?
yeah.
Okay.
at number 6, I'd have you're gonna be surprised by this. I had Superman 3 because it was boring.
Yeah.
And at number 5, I have Superman 4 Quest for Peace. It's still really bad, but I had a lot of fun with it, and there's a lot of laughs by how bad the movie is. At number 4, I have Superman Returns. I think people overhate it, but it still doesn't give me the same feelings as the original Donner films. Um, at number 3, I have the Superman 2, the Donner cut. I don't know where Superman 2 would end up, but it could be lower or higher than this. I'm not 100%, but it's a little bit unfinished, but I like where this Superman epic was kind of leading, but is still led a lot to be desired after the first film. At number 2, Superman 2025. It's really good, really fun, although overly chaotic.
Yeah.
In a way, and I might have some nitpicks here and there, but it's a very good superhero action film that's in theaters right now. I recommend going to see it if you want a little bit of fun. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a turn. You got to turn your brain off, man, kind of film, because it's just a good James Gunn film, and he's nice. He's got some nice comedy. You know what's the one comedic bit that I really liked in the film? Side note.
Yes.
I liked how there are the side villains like Ultraman and all them in the film. They're like bankrolled by Luthor Corp, right? But the Justice Gang is also bankrolled by Maxwell Lord in the film, and they have to note that they're bankrolled by his corporation.
And
So it's like
and Maxwell Lord's played by Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother.
so I really like the
Just
idea
funny.
that modern that action heroes in the universe that's meant to sort of mirror like the real world, but with the metahumans being well known and in the public eye in this sort of universe.
Just one other.
They're all like,
Oh, the one other funny thing that was.
we're owned by the corporation. Ding.
Yeah. What also was really funny was that gag with Jimmy Olsen and Miss Tessmacher. I
Oh
thought that was
yeah.
a really funny gag. Was it's like the old school like reminded me of like an old school like Groucho Marx or the Three Stooges, where like there's this pretty woman and then she's in love with the guy, this like dweeb nerdy guy, but then he doesn't love her back.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was such a funny like old school gag, and it was done well.
And my film number 1 is the OG Superman. It's a gorgeous film to look at. It is very good acting. There are some minor nitpicks because the film has obviously aged, but I feel I can somewhat let some of those slide, and I can see the film that imagined a man could fly. I'll leave it there.
Yes. And last but not least, my
A
rank
classic.
is kind of a absolutely my favorites ranking for the Superman movies. Kind of a combination of both your lists. I have, although I haven't finished it, I'm pretty sure I would still rank it here. I have last is Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. For number 6, I have Superman 3. For um 5, I have Superman Returns, just because I haven't seen it in a while and just thought it was okay. I'm someone I think that liked Man of Steel a little bit more than you guys, but that's why films are
That's fine.
subjective. But
Yeah.
all your critiques are valid, and I have it as number 4 just because I liked Henry Cavill as Superman, and
But Amy Adams was a terrible Lois Lane.
Oh, do you know what sucked when she went to the Arctic and she came in and she does this girl boss scene and you're supposed to be like, yeah, she's going up against these people and she's standing her ground against them. And then in the next scene, she's put in the tent she's supposed to sleep in, and she's like, but where am I supposed to go potty? I'm like, fuck off. I'm sorry.
God.
Yeah,
Going,
sorry,
Zach.
go on.
Yeah, so Man of Steel's number 4, number 3 in both Superman 2 and Richard Donner cut. I just have it as Superman 2, but I would still put them both conjuncturally at 3 because it is very good, but it does start to get a little more campy than the first movie. Number 2, I have Superman 2025, the new one that's out in theaters right now, because of everything that's already been said about it, and it's just really fun. And like I said, it's not number 1 because of the messiness that we talked about, and for me, that there wasn't enough Clark Kent in the movie. And then number 1, I have Superman, the original 1978 Superman the movie, kind of the first major blockbuster superhero film that really was the first Superman hero film that we audiences got to see a lot of, and really, honestly, the first superhero franchise. And Superman was the one that paved the way for that, and it is just an overall classic that I will just always watch from time to time because it is a really good, not just really good superhero movie, but just a really good movie in general. And that is my
Yeah.
ranking.
And there's something to be said about last thing before we leave.
Mhm.
There's something to be said about the OG Superman and how it is serious about Superman as a concept. And I don't mean serious like, oh, we got to have this grounded in reality. We got to have it gritty and dark and stuff like that. No, but I mean like it's a film that fully wants you to encapsulate you in like the idea of Superman, and it fully believes that yes, Superman is real. He exists. We're going to show you Superman, There's something
Mhm.
like very nice about that.
Absolutely. I think we could end it there.
Yeah.
All right.
So the person that I was thinking was actually Dan Henschel. Here's a clip of him.
I am not gay! I am straight! I'm straight! I like women only! Not men! I am not gay! There's nothing wrong with being gay. But I'm not! Okay?